want to point out that I only was at one school, and it was not every single teacher who came to speak with me mentioned that. It was a handful, maybe two, maybe three. That's what I'm saying. Thank you. It's a long evening. It was a very small, statistically very small sample. And that is part of what I am struggling and thinking about, is that it wasn't, for whatever reason, it wasn't everybody. You know, how much weight anyone wants to give that, obviously they have to decide. And I don't know if HCEA has done a survey. Again, you know, we don't really know. And the fact that we're even in this place again, it's like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm sure everyone is going to want to be, well, not happy with us. So I don't know, because the question is, could it be negative for our students if we cancel them? Have the teachers already worked the final into their lesson plan and what they are planning to do with grade? You understand what I'm saying? That they've already said, because as far as they knew, this was the path forward. Now we're possibly changing the path forward. So are we making it more difficult for them, and are we making it more difficult for the students? And I don't have a good answer to either of those questions. So I'm hopeful, Dr. Martirano. Thank you.
I'm going to respond, if I may. I know you're trying to move this, but this is significant.
Okay, I was going to
This is
make my
significant.
comment, but go right ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
I feel like at this point, we're once again pulling the rug out, and I feel like we've pulled the rug out many times this year, and sometimes it was, well, it was a good decision, and looking back, sometimes it wasn't. And I just feel at this point, if we were going to make this decision, we should have done it weeks and weeks ago, because as Ms. Delmont-Small, and the conversations that she had, maybe it was because they said, we wish you would have canceled finals back when it was a reasonable time. But to do it now, we're never going to have 100%. There's going to be teachers that gung-ho that are finals, students who test well, and that's going to save their grade, is because they took a final that was 10%. There's kids that do well, that just test well, and maybe this is their, but we don't know. I will say, now that I have a college freshman, she really, it was a struggle doing the finals for college. It was a struggle. She said it was really hard. And I'm not going to use my one daughter as this is the reason, but there are millions of perspectives on this, and I don't think there's a perfect answer. But I do know that to do this at this point is once again changing direction midstream. And that's, go right ahead.
So I can't support optional. Let's put that one to rest, and we can discuss that more and bounce off of that. If that's the will of the board, then we can discuss it. I think what I'm hearing is that's going to create more concern if it was optional. I don't necessarily agree with the fact that we should have made this decision sooner. Sure, we made the recommendation. But if you're going to open this again, you're going to have to decide that now, because it gives us time to address the fourth quarter. We're at the end of the third quarter, and I could not go any further beyond that, because as a result of this decision, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, we're going to have to scaffold expectations of grading to adjust that percentage, and whether it's defined as, you know, how much we weight those formative assessments throughout the fourth quarter as opposed to the one summative assessment is going to have to be addressed. But to address the concern right now of the timing, I think we have gone as far as we can, knowing it's the end of the third quarter and we're beginning. We've made the recommendation to eliminate those early on. The board, it was not the will of the board to follow through with that recommendation. But the other piece that I can't divorce my thinking from, I'm also planning for the report that's coming to you in May. That will be research-based and evidence-based on a direction that you kind of get a sense of where I'm moving with this. If the recommendation was to support that earlier, that we're going to be advancing further discussion on this in May that was done in a thoughtful, deliberate way that is evidence-based and researched. So the will of the board, whatever you vote on tonight to eliminate, I could support, with adjustments. I can't support optional, and I can't support going on any further than tonight to make that decision. So I'm giving you some parameters to guide with. So I would ask you then to further discuss, to give us guidance, because this is at the 11th hour in many ways. What is the will of the board for the elimination? Because it's, if we were adding something, I think it would cause much more consternation. We're removing something that we can modify and adjust to clarify those expectations at the end of the year.
Ms. Watts?